The Benwood, known as one of the most dived shipwrecks in the world, lies off which US state? Florida. The Benwood is a famous shipwreck located off the coast of Florida, particularly popular among recreational divers. Sunk during World War II, the wreck has transformed into a vibrant artificial reef, supporting diverse marine life. Its accessibility and ecological value make it a significant underwater attraction and a study point for marine ecosystems. The 1970s Cod Wars were over fishing rights between the UK and which other country? Iceland. The Cod Wars were a series of confrontations in the 1970s between the United Kingdom and Iceland, primarily concerning fishing rights in the North Atlantic. These disputes escalated from Iceland's unilateral extensions of its exclusive fishing zones, significantly impacting the British fishing industry. The conflicts highlight historical challenges in international maritime law and resource management, ultimately leading to international agreements on territorial waters. FIDE is an international sports federation for which game? Chess. FIDE, or the Fédération Internationale des Échecs, International Chess Federation, is the governing body of the game of chess. Established in 1924, it organizes the World Chess Championship and various other international tournaments, promoting chess globally. FIDE sets the rules of chess and manages the rating system for players worldwide, playing a crucial role in the sport's development and regulation. Michel Martelly became president of which Caribbean country in May 2011? Haiti. Michel Martelly, a popular musician known as Sweet Mickey, was elected president of Haiti in May 2011. His presidency came at a critical time for the Caribbean nation, which was still recovering from the devastating 2010 earthquake and facing significant reconstruction and development challenges. Martelly's election represented a shift in Haitian politics, bringing an outsider perspective to the country's leadership. Sphagnum is what type of plant? Moss. Sphagnum is a genus of mosses, commonly known as peat moss. These plants are crucial components of bog ecosystems, where they form dense mats that retain large amounts of water. Sphagnum moss plays a vital role in carbon sequestration and habitat creation, making bogs globally significant wetlands. Arundels was the home of which British Prime Minister? Edward Heath. Arundels was the historic home of Sir Edward Heath, who served as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom from 1970 to 1974. Located in Salisbury, Wiltshire, the house is now a museum and charitable trust, preserving Heath's personal effects and political legacy. It offers insight into the life and career of a prominent figure in 20th century British politics, known for leading Britain into the European Economic Community. What are the rods that connect the hub of a wheel to its rim called? Spokes. Spokes are rigid rods that connect the hub of a wheel to its outer rim. They are essential for distributing the load and transferring torque, providing structural integrity and strength to the wheel assembly in various applications, from bicycles to motor vehicles. Who was the first serving US president to officially visit Australia? Lyndon B. Johnson. Lyndon B. Johnson made a significant visit to Australia in October 1966, becoming the first sitting US president to do so. This visit underscored the strong alliance between the two nations, particularly during the Vietnam War era, and strengthened diplomatic ties. From which prison did 38 Irish Republican Army prisoners escape in September 1983, in what became the largest prison escape in British history? Maze Prison. The Great Escape from Maze Prison in September 1983 saw 38 Provisional Irish Republican Army (IRA) prisoners escape. Located near Lisburn, Northern Ireland, the high-security prison was known for housing paramilitary prisoners during the Troubles. This event was a major security breach and a significant moment in the conflict's history. who held the position of British Poet Laureate from 1850 to 1892, marking the longest tenure of any British laureate? Alfred Tennyson. Alfred, Lord Tennyson served as British Poet Laureate for an unprecedented 42 years, from 1850 until his death in 1892. This extended period allowed him to profoundly influence Victorian literature, producing iconic works such as In Memoriam AHH and The Charge of the Light Brigade. From which European country did Mozambique gain its independence in June 1975? Portugal. Mozambique achieved independence from Portugal on June 25, 1975, following a long struggle for liberation. This event was part of a broader wave of decolonization in Africa, particularly after the Carnation Revolution in Portugal in 1974, which led to the end of its colonial empire. Porphyrophobia is the irrational fear of, or aversion to, which color? Purple. Porphyrophobia is the irrational fear of the color purple. Phobias are a type of anxiety disorder characterized by a persistent and excessive fear of an object or situation. Eton College is in which English county? Berkshire. Eton College is an independent boarding school for boys in Eton, Berkshire, England. Founded in 1440 by King Henry VI, it is one of the most prestigious schools globally, known for educating many British prime ministers and prominent figures. Which French president was nicknamed the Great Asparagus? Charles de Gaulle. Charles de Gaulle, a prominent French general and statesman, served as President of France from 1959 to 1969. He was nicknamed the Great Asparagus due to his tall, thin stature and sometimes perceived aloofness, reflecting a quirky historical detail associated with a major political figure. The Barbary partridge is the national bird of which British overseas territory? Gibraltar. The Barbary partridge is the national bird of Gibraltar, a British overseas territory located at the southern tip of the Iberian Peninsula. This medium-sized bird is native to North Africa and can be found in rocky, open habitats. Which English king was known as the Confessor? Edward. Edward the Confessor was one of the last Anglo-Saxon kings of England, reigning from 1042 to 1066. He was known as the Confessor due to his deep piety and the monastic vow he took to lead a chaste life. What is the nickname of the London building at 30 St. Mary Axe? The Gherkin. The building at 30 St. Mary Axe in London is famously nicknamed the Gherkin due to its distinctive, curvilinear shape. Designed by Norman Foster and Ken Shuttleworth, it is a prominent example of contemporary architecture in the city's financial district. The River Cafe restaurant in London specializes in the cuisine of which country? Italy. The River Cafe, a renowned restaurant in London, is celebrated for its authentic Italian cuisine. Established by Rose Gray and Ruth Rogers, it has been instrumental in popularizing high-quality, seasonal Italian cooking in the UK since its opening in 1987. Le Tour du Monde en Quatre Vingers is the French title of which novel? Around the World in 80 Days. Around the World in 80 Days is a classic adventure novel by Jules Verne, first published in 1873. It chronicles the journey of Phileas Fogg and his valet Passepartout as they attempt to circumnavigate the globe in 80 days, showcasing Victorian-era travel and technology. The Sylvian fissure is found in which organ of the human body? Brain. The Sylvian fissure, also known as the lateral sulcus, is one of the most prominent and earliest developing sulci on the human brain. It separates the frontal and parietal lobes superiorly from the temporal lobe inferiorly, playing a critical role in brain anatomy and function. During which year did the Channel Tunnel, between England and France, open? 1994. The Channel Tunnel, often referred to as the Tunnel, is a 50.45 kilometers undersea railway tunnel connecting Folkestone, Kent, in England, with Coquelles, past the Calais, near Calais in northern France. Its opening in 1994 marked a significant engineering achievement, facilitating a direct land link between the UK and mainland Europe. The Five Sisters of Ware appear in a story told in the novel, Nicholas Nickleby, by Charles Dickens. York. In Charles Dickens' novel, Nicholas Nickleby, the character Smike refers to the Five Sisters of York. This refers to the famous Five Sisters window in York Minster, a magnificent example of 13th century Gothic stained glass, known for its 5 lancets and grisaille style. Which US city hosted the 2002 Winter Olympic Games? Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City, Utah, hosted the 19 Winter Olympic Games in 2002, marking the 5th time the United States had hosted the Olympic Games. The event brought significant international attention and economic impact to the region, showcasing its natural landscapes and winter sports facilities. Jean-Louise Calment, the only person confirmed to have reached over 122 years of age, was born in which country in 1875? France. Jean-Louise Calment, a French supercentenarian, holds the verified record for the longest human lifespan, living to 122 years and 164 days. Born in Arles, France, in 1875, her extraordinary longevity makes her a significant subject in gerontology and human biology studies. The Cloud Club, which closed in 1979, occupied the 66th, 67th and 68th floors of which New York building? The Chrysler Building. The Cloud Club was an exclusive dining club located on the upper floors of the iconic Art Deco Chrysler Building in New York City. Its existence highlights the luxurious amenities and architectural grandeur associated with early 20th century skyscrapers. Which U.S. president was born William Jefferson Blythe III? Bill Clinton. William Jefferson Blythe III is the birth name of Bill Clinton, who later became the 42nd President of the United States, serving from 1993 to 2001. This biographical detail is a noteworthy fact about a significant historical figure. Which country is the origin of sacerdote, a famous chocolate cake? Austria. The sacerdote is a classic Viennese chocolate cake, invented by Franz Sacher in 1832 for Prince Metternich. It is characterized by its dense chocolate cake, thin layer of apricot jam, and dark chocolate icing, often served with unsweetened whipped cream. Stringhalt is a nervous disorder affecting the legs of which animal? Horse. Stringhalt is a neuromuscular condition primarily affecting horses, characterized by involuntary, exaggerated flexion of one or both hind legs. While the exact cause can vary, it often involves damage to peripheral nerves or muscle dysfunction, impacting the animal's gait. Who authored the Palliser series of novels in the 19th century? Anthony Trollope. Anthony Trollope was a prolific English novelist of the Victorian era, known for his keen observations of social, political, and domestic life. The Palliser series comprises 6 novels that chronicle the lives of wealthy aristocrats and politicians, offering a detailed portrayal of 19th century British society. In the human body, what phenomenon does the term sudorific relate to a cause? Sweating. Sudorific refers to a substance or condition that induces or relates to sweating. Sweating, or perspiration, is a vital physiological process for thermoregulation in the human body, helping to cool it down through evaporation of water from the skin surface. Baroche, phaeton, surrey, and curricle are all types of what? Horse-drawn carriage. These terms refer to various styles of horse-drawn carriages, popular modes of transport before the advent of automobiles. Each type had distinct design features, seating arrangements, and purposes, ranging from light, open vehicles for pleasure to more formal, enclosed carriages. How many crowned Tudor monarchs did England have? 5. The Tudor dynasty ruled England from 1485 to 1603. The 5 crowned Tudor monarchs were Henry VII, Henry VIII, Edward VI, Mary I, and Elizabeth I, significantly shaping English history, politics, and religion. Which modern-day country was once known as Zipangu? Japan. Zipangu, or Sipangu, was the name used by Marco Polo for Japan in the 13th century. It originated from the Chinese pronunciation of ribbon, meaning origin of the sun. What is a male honey bee called? Drone. A male honey bee is called a drone. Drones are larger than worker bees and their primary role in the colony is to mate with the queen bee. What was the name of the Greek musician who rescued his wife Eurydice from the underworld, but lost her again when he turned back to look at her before they reached the upper world? Orpheus. Orpheus was a legendary musician, poet, and prophet in ancient Greek mythology. His myth recounts his journey to the underworld to retrieve his deceased wife, Eurydice, a tale that explores themes of love, loss, and the power of music. The city of New York was named after the brother of which English monarch? King Charles II. New York was originally a Dutch colony named New Amsterdam. In 1664, it was captured by the English and renamed New York in honor of James, Duke of York, who was the brother of King Charles II and later King James II. Who wrote the 19th century book, Notes on Nursing? What it is and what it is not. Florence Nightingale. Florence Nightingale, a pioneering nurse, social reformer, and statistician, wrote Notes on Nursing in 1859. This foundational text articulated principles of nursing that remain relevant today and significantly influenced the development of modern nursing. Which U.S. space probe completed the first mission to the planet Jupiter? Pioneer 10. Pioneer 10 was the first spacecraft to travel through the asteroid belt and make direct observations of Jupiter, providing valuable data about the giant planet and its moons. Launched in 1972, it paved the way for future outer solar system missions. In 1933, U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed Executive Order 6102, which banned U.S. citizens from hoarding what? Gold. Executive Order 6102, signed during the Great Depression, prohibited the private ownership of gold by U.S. citizens, aiming to stabilize the banking system and the economy. This measure allowed the government to increase the money supply and combat deflation. Dupion, habertie, and noil are all types of which fabric? Silk. Dupion, habertie, and noil are distinct varieties of silk fabric, each characterized by its unique weave and texture. Dupion silk is known for its slubs, habertie for its smooth, light feel, and noil for its matte, slubby appearance, often resembling raw cotton. What does the Latin phrase, suum cuique, translate to in English? To each his own. The Latin phrase, suum cuique, translates to each his own, or, to each what is due. It is a principle often associated with justice and fairness, implying that everyone should receive what they deserve. Spessartine, or spessartite, is what type of gemstone? Garnet. Spessartine is a manganese aluminium garnet, known for its vibrant orange to red-orange coloration. It is a member of the extensive garnet group, a set of silicate minerals used as gemstones and abrasives. A logophile is a lover of what? Words. A logophile is an individual who has a deep love for words, their meanings, and their etymology. Such a person enjoys playing with words, discovering new vocabulary, and appreciating the nuances of language. Yellowstone National Park is located primarily in which U.S. state? Wyoming. Yellowstone National Park, established in 1872, is the first national park in the U.S. and widely considered the first in the world. While primarily in Wyoming, it also extends into parts of Montana and Idaho, known for its geothermal features and diverse wildlife. Which is the only U.S. state to have two rivers both with the same name? Florida. Florida is unique for having two distinct rivers both named St. Johns River, though one is a much smaller tributary. The main St. Johns River is the longest river entirely within Florida, flowing north through many lakes and wetlands. What process, involving the injection of high-pressure fluid, was temporarily banned in Blackpool after being linked to two earth tremors in 2011? Fracking. Fracking, hydraulic fracturing, is a process used to extract oil and natural gas from shale rock formations. The injection of high-pressure fluid into the earth can induce seismic activity, leading to concerns about environmental impact and safety. Its temporary ban in Blackpool highlights the geological risks associated with the practice. What is the national animal of Singapore? Lion. The lion is the national animal of Singapore, deeply rooted in its name, Singapura, meaning lion city in Sanskrit. Although lions are not native to Singapore, the mythical encounter of a Sumatran prince with a creature believed to be a lion led to the naming of the island. This symbol represents courage, strength, and excellence for the nation. In nature, what are classified as active, dormant, and extinct? Volcanoes. Volcanoes are classified into active, dormant, and extinct categories based on their eruptive history and potential. An active volcano has erupted recently and is expected to erupt again. Dormant ones have not erupted for a long time but could, while extinct volcanoes are considered unlikely to erupt ever again. This classification helps in monitoring and risk assessment. Dipsophobia is the abnormal fear of what activity? Drinking alcohol. Dipsophobia is a specific phobia characterized by an irrational and intense fear of drinking alcohol. While common phobias relate to heights or enclosed spaces, dipsophobia falls under the category of specific phobias, often stemming from past traumatic experiences or anxiety related to alcohol's effects. Understanding such phobias is part of general psychological knowledge. Which English county is known as the Heart of England? Leicestershire. Leicestershire is often referred to as the Heart of England due to its central geographical location within the country. This nickname highlights its traditional role and position in England's landscape and cultural identity. Which inventor was known as the Wizard of Menlo Park? Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison, a prolific American inventor, established his famous research laboratory in Menlo Park, New Jersey. This site was instrumental in his development of practical inventions like the phonograph, incandescent light bulb, and motion picture camera, earning him the moniker, the Wizard of Menlo Park. In anatomy, if something is subcostal, it is situated or performed below which part of the body? Ribs. In anatomical terminology, subcostal refers to the region or structures located beneath the ribs. The prefix sub means below, and costal pertains to the ribs, making it a key term for describing locations in the lower thoracic and upper abdominal areas. Jackson Heights is a neighborhood in which New York borough? Queens. Jackson Heights is a diverse neighborhood located in the borough of Queens, New York City. It is renowned for its historic garden apartment complexes, vibrant immigrant communities, and significant cultural diversity. Which two English authors co-wrote the 19th century play, Frozen Deep? Wilkie Collins and Charles Dickens. The Frozen Deep is a Victorian play co-written by Wilkie Collins and Charles Dickens, first performed in 1857. This collaboration highlights the literary partnership between two prominent 19th century English authors. Lima is the capital of which country? Peru. Lima is the capital and largest city of Peru, situated on the Pacific coast. Founded by Francisco Pizarro in 1535, it served as the capital of the Viceroyalty of Peru and is a significant economic and cultural hub in South America. A sweeting is what type of fruit? Apple. A sweeting refers to a variety of apple known for its distinctively sweet taste. These types of apples were historically valued for direct consumption and especially for cider production. Louis-Philippe I, king of the French and last king to rule France, abdicated in 1848 and lived the rest of his life in exile in which country? England. Louis-Philippe I, the citizen king, reigned over France during the July monarchy from 1830 to 1848. He was the last monarch to rule France and abdicated during the revolutions of 1848, subsequently spending his exile in England. Which bridge in London was dubbed the Wobbly Bridge? The Millennium Bridge. The Millennium Bridge is a pedestrian suspension bridge over the River Thames in London. Shortly after its opening in 2000, it earned the nickname Wobbly Bridge, due to unexpected lateral oscillations, which were later corrected with dampeners. Which Scottish city is promoted as one city, many discoveries? Dundee. Dundee is a city on the east coast of Scotland, recognized for its rich industrial heritage and its modern focus on design and innovation. The slogan, One City, Many Discoveries reflects its contributions to science, its cultural offerings, and its revitalized urban landscape, including the V&A Dundee. The Wallace Line, or Wallace's Line, is a faunal boundary line which separates the ecozones of Southeast Asia and which country? Australia. The Wallace Line is a significant biogeographical boundary that demarcates the distinct faunal regions of Asia and Wallacea. It runs through the Malay archipelago, marking a deep water channel that historically acted as a barrier to animal migration, particularly during glacial periods. Which British Royal Naval officer was known as the Hero of the Nile? Horatio Nelson. Horatio Nelson was a celebrated British admiral renowned for his decisive naval victories during the Napoleonic Wars. His strategic genius and leadership were particularly evident at the Battle of the Nile in 1798, a victory that severely disrupted Napoleon's Egyptian campaign. A splake is what type of creature? Fish. A splake is a fertile hybrid fish species, resulting from the crossbreeding of a male brook trout, Salvelinus fontanalis, and a female lake trout, Salvelinus namakis. This hybrid is often introduced into lakes for sport fishing due to its adaptability and rapid growth. Which element has the highest melting point? Carbon. Carbon, specifically in its graphite allotrope, possesses the highest known melting point of all elements, reaching approximately 3600 to 3900 degrees Celsius at standard pressure. This exceptional thermal stability is attributed to its strong covalent bonds and extensive network structure. During which year were escalators installed in the Empire State Building in New York? 1964. The Empire State Building, an iconic New York City landmark, underwent significant modernization throughout its history. The installation of escalators in 1964 was part of these efforts to improve visitor and tenant access within the structure. The Nightingale Training School for Nurses was set up in 1860 at which London hospital? St. Thomas's Hospital. Florence Nightingale, known as the founder of modern nursing, established her pioneering training school at St. Thomas's Hospital in London. This institution was crucial in professionalizing nursing and setting standards for patient care and hygiene. What is the only city in the US not technically located in a state? Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C., officially the District of Columbia, serves as the federal capital of the United States. It was established under Article 1 of the U.S. Constitution to be distinct from any state, ensuring political neutrality and federal control over the nation's capital. What color is the inner cross on the national flag of Iceland? Red. The national flag of Iceland features a white-bordered red Nordic cross on a blue field. The colors are symbolic of Iceland's landscape: blue for the ocean, white for snow and glaciers, and red for the fire of volcanoes. What is the largest artery in the human body? Aorta. The aorta is the largest artery in the human body, originating from the left ventricle of the heart. It is responsible for distributing oxygenated blood to all parts of the body. Which English monarch was the son of Edmund Tudor, 1st Earl of Richmond? King Henry VII. King Henry VII was the first monarch of the House of Tudor, reigning from 1485 to 1509. His ascent to the throne marked the end of the Wars of the Roses and the beginning of a powerful new dynasty in England. Which tea blend is said to be named after a 19th-century British Prime Minister? Earl Grey. Earl Grey tea is a black tea blend flavored with bergamot oil. It is traditionally named after Charles Grey, 2nd Earl Grey, who served as British Prime Minister in the 1830s. When is the Royal Thai Armed Forces Day celebrated? January 18th. Royal Thai Armed Forces Day is observed annually on January 18th. This date commemorates the victory of King Naresung the Great in a crucial elephant-back duel in 1593, a significant event in Thai history. Gingernet Ranger is a breed of which creature? Chicken. The Gingernet Ranger is a modern hybrid breed of chicken. It is widely recognized for its prolific egg-laying capabilities and generally docile temperament, making it popular for backyard poultry. Metal is a chemical compound used in which activity or hobby? Photography. Metal, also known as p-methylaminophenol sulfate, is an organic chemical compound. It is widely used as a developing agent in black and white photography, valued for its ability to produce fine grain and a good tonal range. The grave of poet and author Oscar Wilde is located in which Paris cemetery? Père Lachaise. Oscar Wilde, 1854–1900, was an influential Irish poet and playwright, a prominent figure of the aesthetic movement. His tomb at Père Lachaise Cemetery in Paris is a well-known literary landmark, attracting visitors from around the world. The cemetery itself is renowned for housing the graves of numerous celebrated artists, writers, and musicians. Ornithogalum is the Latin name for which flowering plant? Star of Bethlehem. Ornithogalum is a genus of perennial bulbous plants belonging to the Asparagaceae family, commonly known as Star of Bethlehem. This name refers to its distinctive white, star-shaped flowers. While often cultivated as an ornamental plant, some species can also be considered invasive weeds in certain regions. What term describes a politically unstable country that is economically dependent on a single export commodity and is usually governed by a dictator or the armed forces? Banana Republic. The term, banana republic, refers to a politically unstable country, typically in Latin America, whose economy is largely dependent on a single export commodity, often a fruit like bananas. These nations are characterized by corrupt or despotic governments and foreign exploitation of their resources. The term was coined by American writer O. Henry in 1904 to describe Honduras. In the human body, what is the slight projection at the front of the throat, formed by the largest cartilage of the larynx, commonly known as Adam's apple? The Adam's apple is a prominent laryngeal prominence, specifically a bulge formed by the thyroid cartilage surrounding the larynx. It is typically more noticeable in adult males due to hormonal changes during puberty. In the human body, an infantile hemangioma is better known by what name? Strawberry mark. An infantile hemangioma, commonly known as a strawberry mark, is a benign vascular tumor that typically appears shortly after birth. These marks often grow rapidly during the first year of life before slowly regressing and usually disappearing by childhood. An Ideal, what is an 1895 play by Oscar Wilde? Husband. An Ideal Husband is a satirical play by Oscar Wilde, first performed in 1895. The play explores themes of public and private morality, political corruption, and the social expectations placed upon individuals in Victorian society. How old was British monarch Queen Victoria when she came to the throne? 18 years. Queen Victoria ascended to the British throne in 1837 at the age of 18, following the death of her uncle, William IV. Her reign, lasting over 63 years, is known as the Victorian era, a period marked by significant industrial expansion and societal changes in Britain. Damper is a traditional soda bread originating in which country? Australia. Damper is a traditional Australian soda bread, historically prepared by stockmen and drovers over campfire. It typically consists of flour, water, or milk, and salt, symbolizing a basic sustenance food often baked in the ashes. In June 1972, Sally Preson became the first female, what, in the US? Rabbi, in Reform Judaism. In June 1972, Sally Preson was ordained by the Hebrew Union College Jewish Institute of Religion, becoming the first female rabbi in the United States. This event marked a pivotal moment for women's leadership and gender equality within Reform Judaism. Gules is which color in heraldry? Red. Gules is the heraldic term for the color red, one of the primary tinctures used in coats of arms and blazonry. In traditional heraldry, colors like gules often carry symbolic meanings, such as courage or passion. Which creature represented the year 2001 in the Chinese calendar? Snake. The Chinese calendar, a lunisolar calendar, assigns an animal and an element to each year in a 12-year cycle. 2001 corresponded to the year of the snake, symbolizing wisdom, grace, and introspection in Chinese astrology. In computing, what is SYSOP short for? System Operator. SYSOP is an acronym for System Operator, a role responsible for the administration and maintenance of a computer system or network. This term was particularly common in the early days of bulletin board systems, BBS, and online services. Which English author wrote and edited the weekly periodical, Master Humphrey's Clock? Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens, a renowned English novelist, wrote and edited Master Humphrey's Clock, a weekly periodical published from 1840 to 1841. This publication featured a frame story and serialized two of his novels, The Old Curiosity Shop and Barnaby Rudge. Traditionally, first footing takes place in Britain on which date of the year? The 1st of January. First footing is a widely observed New Year's Day custom in Scotland and parts of northern England. The first person to cross the threshold of a home after midnight on New Year's Eve is believed to bring good luck for the coming year, often carrying gifts like coal, bread, or whiskey. Bodybuilder Angelo Siciliano was better known by what name? Charles Atlas. Angelo Siciliano, an Italian-American bodybuilder, became a household name as Charles Atlas. He gained fame through his dynamic tension exercise program and iconic comic book advertisements that promised to transform scrawny individuals into muscular physiques. What is Cockney rhyming slang for the London Underground rail system? Oxo cube, tube. Cockney rhyming slang is a distinctive form of English slang originating in the East End of London. It involves replacing a word with a rhyming phrase, and then often omitting the rhyming word, such as Oxo cube, for tube, referring to the London Underground. A sublingual medicine is applied in which part of the body? Mouth. Sublingual medicine refers to drugs administered by placing them under the tongue, where they dissolve and are absorbed directly into the bloodstream through the mucous membranes. This method allows for rapid absorption and bypasses the digestive system and liver metabolism. The world's oldest surviving bowling green, first used around 1299, is located in which English city? Southampton. The world's oldest surviving bowling green, established around 1299, is located in Southampton, England. This historic site offers a unique glimpse into the ancient origins and enduring tradition of the sport of bowling. Which US president was nicknamed Old Hickory? Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson, the seventh president of the United States, earned the nickname Old Hickory due to his tough and unyielding personality. This moniker reflected his reputation as a strong military leader and a man of immense resolve. What is the world's highest navigable lake? Lake Titicaca. Lake Titicaca, situated in the Andes Mountains on the border of Peru and Bolivia, holds the distinction of being the world's highest navigable lake. Its altitude of approximately 3,812 meters, 12,507 feet, above sea level makes it a remarkable geographical feature. What is the national animal of Romania? Lynx. The national animal of Romania is the Eurasian lynx, lynx, a medium-sized wild cat native to European and Siberian forests. This choice reflects Romania's rich biodiversity and the significant presence of these elusive predators in its Carpathian mountain ranges. Amaretti are representations of which figure in works of art? Cupid. Amaretti, often depicted as winged infants, are representations of Cupid or putti in works of art, particularly from the Renaissance and Baroque periods. These figures symbolize love, desire, and innocence, frequently appearing in classical mythology and allegorical scenes. To which part of the body does the term sural relate? The calf, leg. The term sural is derived from sura, the Latin word for calf. In anatomy, it specifically refers to structures or regions pertaining to the calf of the leg, such as the sural nerve or sural artery, which are important for leg sensation and function. Ataulfo, Hayden, Francis, and Kate are all varieties of which fruit? Mango. These are prominent commercial varieties of mango, Mangifera indica, cultivated globally for their distinct flavors, textures, and sizes. Mangoes are a significant tropical stone fruit, valued both culturally and economically in many regions worldwide. Chrysophobia is the abnormal fear of which color? Orange. Chrysophobia is a specific phobia characterized by an irrational and intense fear of the color orange. Phobias are a type of anxiety disorder where an individual experiences extreme fear or anxiety related to a particular object or situation. The Sea is a 1978 novel by which author? Iris Murdoch. The Sea, is a highly acclaimed novel by the British author Iris Murdoch, for which she was awarded the Booker Prize in 1978. The novel delves into themes of memory, obsession, and artistic endeavor, following a retired theatrical director's attempt to write his memoirs. Who was the first husband of Catherine of Aragon, the first wife of British monarch King Henry VIII? Arthur, Prince of Wales, Henry's brother. Catherine of Aragon was initially married to Arthur, Prince of Wales, who was Henry VIII's elder brother. Arthur's premature death led to Catherine's subsequent marriage to Henry VIII, an event that profoundly influenced English history due to Henry's later efforts to annul their union. What is the title of the head of the judiciary in England and Wales? Lord Chancellor. The Lord Chancellor is an ancient and significant office in the United Kingdom, traditionally serving as the head of the judiciary. While constitutional reforms have largely transferred judicial functions to the Lord Chief Justice, the Lord Chancellor still holds a key role within the executive as the Secretary of State for Justice. Which plant is commonly known as the pie plant? Rhubarb. Rhubarb is a genus of perennial plants primarily cultivated for its edible leaf stalks, petioles, which are tart and often used in desserts. Its common name, pie plant, reflects its widespread culinary use in pies and crumbles, where its distinct flavor is a popular ingredient. Which French field marshal and emperor was known as the Little Corporal? Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon Bonaparte, 1769–1821, was a transformative French military and political leader who dominated European affairs for over a decade. He earned the affectionate nickname, the Little Corporal, Le Petit Caporal, from his soldiers after the Battle of Lodi in 1796, reflecting his personal bravery and hands-on leadership style. In which year was the International Olympic Committee founded? 1894. The International Olympic Committee, IOC, is a non-governmental sports organization that organizes the modern Olympic Games. It was founded on June 23, 1894, by Pierre de Coubertin and Demetrius Vikelis, with the aim of reviving the ancient Olympic Games and promoting global peace and understanding through sport. Which European country is colloquially known as the Boot? Italy. Italy is a country located in southern Europe, prominently featuring a peninsula that extends into the Mediterranean Sea. Its distinctive geographical shape, resembling a high-heeled boot, has led to its widely recognized nickname, the Boot, making it easily identifiable on maps. Sweetango is a variety of which fruit? Apple. Sweetango is a popular hybrid apple cultivar developed by the University of Minnesota, known for its exceptional crispness and sweet tart flavor. It is a cross between the Honeycrisp and Zesta apple varieties, offering a distinct taste and texture that makes it a favorite for fresh eating and various culinary applications. Mount Komolamma is the official name of which mountain? Mount Everest. Mount Everest, known as Sagarmatha in Nepal and Chomolungma in Tibet, often transliterated as Komalangma, is the Earth's highest mountain above sea level, reaching 8,848.86 meters. It is a crucial geographical landmark located in the Himalayas, straddling the border between Nepal and China. Which British monarch is said to be buried with a lock of Maria Fitzherbert's hair? King George IV. King George IV, who reigned from 1820 to 1830, was secretly and controversially married to Maria Fitzherbert, a Catholic commoner. Despite the illegality of this union and his later official marriage, his profound attachment to Fitzherbert is evidenced by the tradition that he was interred with a lock of her hair. In which UK city is Waverley railway station? Edinburgh. Edinburgh Waverley is the principal railway station serving Edinburgh, Scotland, and is the second busiest station in Scotland. It is notably the only railway station in the world named after a novel, Sir Walter Scott's Waverley. Chulalongkorn University is the oldest university in which Asian country? Thailand. Chulalongkorn University, established in 1917 by King Vajiralongkorn, is named after his father, King Chulalongkorn. As Thailand's oldest and one of its most prestigious universities, it stands as a cornerstone of the nation's higher education system and intellectual development. In medicine, a sphygmograph records the strength and rate of what? The pulse and heart. A sphygmograph is a medical instrument designed to measure and graphically record the arterial pulse wave. This device provides crucial data on heart rate, rhythm, and the strength of arterial contractions, offering valuable insights for cardiovascular assessment. Logophobia is the abnormal fear of what? Words. Logophobia is classified as a specific phobia, characterized by an irrational and intense fear of words or speaking. Phobias are a type of anxiety disorder where an individual experiences extreme fear or panic in response to certain objects or situations. Which NATO member country is the only one with no permanent professional army? Iceland. Iceland, a founding member of NATO since 1949, stands out as the only member state without a conventional permanent military force. Its national defense is primarily handled by the Icelandic Coast Guard, National Police, and Special Forces, relying heavily on its NATO allies for collective security. Miami Beach pharmacist Benjamin Green invented which brand of sun lotion in 1944? Coppertone. In 1944, pharmacist Benjamin Green developed one of the earliest commercial sunscreens to protect soldiers in the Pacific during World War II. His formula later became the foundation for the popular Coppertone brand, marking a significant advancement in sun protection and public health. According to the Bible, what are three theological virtues? Faith, hope, and charity. The three theological virtues, faith, hope, and charity, or love, are foundational concepts in Christian theology, primarily derived from St. Paul's first letter to the Corinthians, 1 Corinthians 13. These virtues are believed to be infused into the soul by God, guiding believers towards spiritual growth and a deeper relationship with the divine. They are distinguished from the cardinal virtues which can be acquired through human effort. In the Shakespeare play, A Midsummer Night's Dream, Titania is the queen of the what? Fairies. Titania is the powerful queen of the fairies in William Shakespeare's celebrated comedic play, A Midsummer Night's Dream. She is married to Oberon, the king of the fairies, and their ongoing quarrel over a changeling boy forms a central conflict in the play, leading to magical mischief and mistaken identities within an enchanted forest setting. The headquarters of Jyske Bank are located in which European country? Denmark. Jyske Bank is one of Denmark's largest banks, with its headquarters in Silkeborg. Knowledge of the locations of major financial institutions can be relevant for general economic and geographical understanding. A group of which type of fish is collectively known as an army? Herring. The term army is a collective noun specifically used to describe a large group of herring. Herring are crucial forage fish, significant to marine ecosystems and global fisheries. Rhinidophobia is the irrational fear of which animals? Frogs. Rhinidophobia is a specific phobia characterized by an intense and irrational fear of frogs and toads. Phobias are a type of anxiety disorder, and understanding such terms is part of general science and psychology. Which planet in our solar system has a year which is around 24.5 Earth years? Saturn. Saturn's orbital period, or its year, is approximately 29.5 Earth years, not 24.5. While the question's premise is not perfectly precise for any major planet, Saturn is the planet specified in the answer. It is the sixth planet from the Sun and is renowned for its distinctive ring system. In humans, iatromysia is an intense dislike for which profession? Doctors. Iatromysia describes an intense or abnormal dislike, aversion, or hatred towards doctors or the medical profession. This psychological term can be associated with various underlying factors, including past traumatic medical experiences, anxiety related to health, or a general distrust of healthcare providers. The bronze statue of David by Donatello shows David holding what in his right hand? Goliath's sword. Donatello's bronze statue of David, a seminal work of the early Renaissance, depicts David after his victory over Goliath. The figure is shown holding Goliath's severed head and his sword, symbolizing triumph and youthful courage. Which country was the first to have a woman elected head of state? Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka holds the distinction of being the first country to elect a woman as head of state. Sirimavo Bandaranaike was elected Prime Minister of Sri Lanka, then Ceylon, in 1960, a historic moment in global politics. Victory in Europe Day was celebrated in 1945 during which month of the year? May. Victory in Europe Day was celebrated on May 8, 1945, marking the formal acceptance by the Allies of Nazi Germany's unconditional surrender of its armed forces. This date symbolized the end of World War II in Europe. Who was the first female U.S. Secretary of State? Madeleine Albright. Madeleine Albright served as the first female United States Secretary of State from 1997 to 2001 under President Bill Clinton. Her appointment was a significant milestone for women in American foreign policy and diplomacy. What type of creature is a bobolink? Bird. A bobolink is a species of migratory North American passerine bird known for its distinctive plumage, especially the breeding male. These grassland birds are recognized for their melodious, bubbly song and significant seasonal migrations. Which British monarch instituted the Distinguished Service Order? Queen Victoria. Queen Victoria instituted the Distinguished Service Order, DSO, in 1886. This military award is given for meritorious or distinguished service in actual wartime, typically to officers of the armed forces. Who was named Time magazine's Man of the Year in 1940? Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill, then Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, was recognized by Time magazine for his crucial leadership during the early stages of World War II. His powerful rhetoric and unwavering resolve played a pivotal role in boosting British morale and resistance against Nazi Germany. Lahar is an Indonesian term that describes a hot or cold mixture of water and rock fragments flowing from what? A volcano. A lahar is a destructive mudflow or debris flow composed of volcanic ash, rock fragments, and water, originating from a volcano. These flows can be triggered by heavy rainfall, melting snow, or glacial ice interacting with loose volcanic material, posing severe hazards to areas downstream. In July 1992, Yitzhak Rabin became Prime Minister of which country? Israel. Yitzhak Rabin, a decorated military general and politician, assumed the role of Prime Minister of Israel for his second term in July 1992. His tenure was marked by significant peace efforts, including the signing of the Oslo Accords with the Palestine Liberation Organization in 1993, for which he later received the Nobel Peace Prize. Jirishan National Park lies in which Asian country? South Korea. Jirishan National Park, designated in 1967, is South Korea's first and largest national park, encompassing the prominent Jirishan mountain range. The park is renowned for its rich biodiversity, ancient temples, and challenging hiking trails, making it a significant natural and cultural heritage site. Which country has the largest number of UNESCO World Heritage Sites? Italy. Italy holds the record for the country with the highest number of UNESCO World Heritage Sites, showcasing its immense cultural, historical, and natural wealth. These sites include ancient Roman ruins, Renaissance masterpieces, and iconic landscapes, reflecting millennia of human civilization and natural beauty. Mare Imbrium, on the Moon is better known by what name? Sea of Showers, or Sea of Rains. Mare Imbrium, Latin for Sea of Showers, or Sea of Rains, is one of the largest lunar maria, a vast basaltic plain on the Moon's near side. It formed when an ancient impact basin was flooded by volcanic lava, creating a large, dark, and relatively smooth area visible from Earth. A group of which birds is known as an exsultation? Larks. An exsultation is the specific collective noun used to describe a group of larks, particularly when they are in flight. This poetic term beautifully captures the image of larks soaring high and singing joyfully, characteristic of these melodious birds. How many times did Silvio Berlusconi serve as Prime Minister of Italy? 3. Silvio Berlusconi served as Prime Minister of Italy for 3 non-consecutive terms, 1994-1995, 2001-2006, and 2008-2011. He was a dominant figure in Italian politics and media for several decades. Alliumphobia is the irrational fear of which plant? Garlic. Alliumphobia is an anxiety disorder characterized by an intense and irrational fear of garlic. The term is derived from allium, the genus name for garlic and related plants like onions, combined with phobia, meaning fear. The Lower Usumer Dam is in which African country? Nigeria. The Lower Usumer Dam is a crucial water reservoir situated near Abuja, the capital city of Nigeria. It serves as a primary source of potable water for Abuja and its environs, playing a vital role in meeting the region's urban water demands. Fish use their gills to extract what from the water around them? Oxygen. Gills are specialized respiratory organs in fish, designed for efficient gas exchange. Their structure, featuring numerous filaments and lamellae, maximizes surface area, allowing fish to absorb dissolved oxygen from the water and release carbon dioxide. How many chambers does a giraffe have in its stomach? 4. Giraffes, like all ruminants such as cows and sheep, possess a 4-chambered stomach. These chambers, rumen, reticulum, omasum, and abomasum, facilitate a complex digestive process, including microbial fermentation, which is essential for breaking down tough plant material in their diet. The towns of Milton Keynes and High Wycombe are in which English county? Buckinghamshire. Milton Keynes is a large town in Buckinghamshire, England, recognized for its distinctive grid pattern layout and rapid urban development since its designation as a new town in 1967. High Wycombe is another significant market town and civil parish located within the same county, nestled in the Chiltern Hills. The oldest known living tree in the world, a bristlecone pine, is situated in which U.S. state? California. The oldest known non-clonal tree, a Great Basin bristlecone pine named Methuselah, is located in the White Mountains of California. Estimated to be over 4,850 years old, it is one of the oldest living organisms on Earth, demonstrating remarkable longevity and resilience in harsh environments. Ne Win was head of state of which country from 1962 to 1981? Burma, Myanmar. General Ne Win led Burma, now Myanmar, as head of state for nearly 2 decades, from 1962 to 1981, following a military coup. His rule was characterized by the Burmese way to socialism, which involved nationalization, isolationism, and a one-party system, significantly shaping the country's political and economic trajectory. Noodling is the Australian term for the mining of which gemstone? Opal. Noodling refers to the practice of searching for discarded or overlooked fragments of opal in mining spoil heaps, particularly in Australia, which is the world's leading producer of opals. This term reflects the informal and often secondary nature of searching for this unique gemstone, a significant part of Australia's mineral wealth. English chemist Sir William Henry Perkin accidentally discovered which color in 1856, at the age of 18? Mauve. In 1856, Sir William Henry Perkin, at just 18 years old, accidentally discovered mauveine, the first synthetic organic dye, while attempting to synthesize quinine. This serendipitous discovery revolutionized the chemical industry and fashion, leading to the development of synthetic dyes and laying foundations for modern organic chemistry. Napoleon Bonaparte was given sovereignty of which island in 1814? Elba. Following his abdication in April 1814 after the defeat of his forces by the Sixth Coalition, Napoleon Bonaparte was exiled to the island of Elba. He was granted sovereignty over the island, located off the Tuscan coast, where he ruled for 10 months before escaping in February 1815 to attempt to reclaim power. In January 1993, who was the first British cabinet minister to visit Argentina since the 1982 Falklands Islands conflict? Douglas Hurd. Douglas Hurd, then British Foreign Secretary, made a historic visit to Argentina in January 1993. This marked the first visit by a British cabinet minister since the 1982 Falklands War, symbolizing a significant step towards normalizing diplomatic relations between the two countries after a decade of strained ties. What was the name of the online peer-to-peer audio file sharing service which operated between June 1999 and July 2001? Napster. Napster was a pioneering peer-to-peer file sharing service primarily for audio files, operating from 1999 to 2001. Its innovative technology revolutionized digital music distribution but also faced significant legal challenges over copyright infringement. DK is the International Vehicle Registration Code for which country? Denmark. International Vehicle Registration Codes are country-specific abbreviations used on vehicles when traveling across borders. DK specifically identifies vehicles registered in Denmark, adhering to the Vienna Convention on Road Traffic. Sweyn Forkbeard was the father of which 11th century English monarch? King Canute. Sweyn Forkbeard, a Viking king, conquered England in 1013, becoming the first Danish king of England. His son, Canute the Great, King Canute, later ruled a vast North Sea empire, encompassing England, Denmark, and Norway. In 1957, which US president announced a 2-year suspension of nuclear testing? Dwight D. Eisenhower. President Dwight D. Eisenhower announced a 2-year suspension of nuclear testing in 1957 as part of efforts to curb the arms race during the Cold War. This move aimed to encourage international disarmament agreements and reduce global nuclear tensions. Which former British politician died on the 8th of April 2013 aged 87? Margaret Thatcher. Margaret Thatcher, often referred to as the Iron Lady, served as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom from 1979 to 1990, making her the longest-serving British Prime Minister of the 20th century. She was a prominent figure in conservative politics and significantly influenced Britain's economic and social landscape. The English resort of Blackpool lies on which body of water? Irish Sea. Blackpool is a famous seaside resort in Lancashire, England, situated on the Fylde coast. It faces the Irish Sea, which separates the island of Great Britain from Ireland, connecting to the Atlantic Ocean. In April 2013, which three-digit free-to-call, non-emergency number was introduced by the NHS to replace the telephone triage and advice services provided by NHS Direct? 111. The NHS 111 service was launched in April 2013 in England to provide a single point of contact for urgent, but not life-threatening, health concerns. It offers medical advice and directs callers to the most appropriate service, reducing pressure on emergency departments. Shedding is each of the 6 administrative divisions of which European island? Isle of Man. Sheadings are the historical administrative divisions of the Isle of Man, a self-governing British Crown dependency located in the Irish Sea. This system of local governance has ancient roots, reflecting the island's unique legal and political heritage, distinct from the UK. A Clifton nonpareil is what type of creature? Moth. The Clifton nonpareil, Catocala fraxini, is a large, distinctive species of moth, native to Europe and Asia. It is notable for its impressive size and beautiful blue-banded hindwings, making it a prized sighting for entomologists. In Greek mythology, which hero of the Trojan War committed suicide after the armor of the dead Achilles was awarded to Odysseus and not him? Ajax. Ajax the Great was a prominent Greek hero during the Trojan War, renowned for his strength and courage. Overwhelmed by grief and a sense of dishonor after the judgment against him, he tragically committed suicide, a pivotal moment in ancient Greek mythology. Circumlocution is the term for using several, what, when less or only one will do? Words. Circumlocution refers to the use of unnecessarily many words to express an idea or to avoid speaking directly. While it can sometimes be a rhetorical device, it often signifies evasiveness or a lack of clarity in communication. A prion is what type of creature? Bird. Prions are a genus of small seabirds, Pachyptila, found in the southern hemisphere, known for their unique filter-feeding bills adapted for plankton. It is important to distinguish these birds from prions, which are misfolded proteins responsible for transmissible spongiform encephalopathies in mammals. Which English port in the county of Kent is the only one with the right to call itself a royal harbour? Ramsgate. Ramsgate in Kent holds the unique distinction as the UK's only royal harbour, a title bestowed by King George IV in 1821. This honour recognised the port's hospitality and safe haven provided to the Royal Squadron following a severe storm. What is the English translation of the Latin phrase, omnia vincit amor? Love conquers all. Omnia vincit amor is a celebrated Latin phrase translating to, love conquers all. This quote originates from the Roman poet Virgil's Eclogues, Book 10, line 69, and has been a perennially influential theme in literature, art, and philosophy throughout history. According to the Bible, on which day of creation was man created? Sixth day. The book of Genesis, a foundational text in Abrahamic religions, states that humanity, both man and woman, was created on the sixth day of the creation week. This narrative is central to understanding theological perspectives on human origins and purpose. Mount Catherine is the highest mountain in which African country? Egypt. Mount Catherine, also known as Jabal Katran, stands as the highest mountain in Egypt, reaching an elevation of 2,629 meters, 8,625 feet. It is situated in the South Sinai Governorate, near the historic St. Catherine's Monastery, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. How many time zones does Brazil have? 3. Brazil, due to its vast geographical expanse, has multiple time zones. It currently operates under 3 official time zones, though historically it has used up to 4. Which British city is known as Copperopolis? Swansea. Swansea earned the nickname Copperopolis in the 19th century due to its unparalleled dominance as a global hub for copper smelting and processing. This industrial activity profoundly shaped the city's development and economic landscape. Which World War II US general was given the nickname Dugout Doug? General Douglas MacArthur. General Douglas MacArthur, a prominent American military leader during World War II, was known as Dugout Doug. This nickname arose during the early stages of the war in the Philippines, reflecting perceptions of him directing operations from headquarters rather than directly on the front lines. What is the name of the concert venue in Glasgow, completed in September 2013, becoming the largest entertainment venue in Scotland? The SSE Hydro. The SSE Hydro, now known as the OVO Hydro, is a major concert and events arena located in Glasgow, Scotland. Opened in 2013, it quickly became the largest dedicated entertainment venue in Scotland, hosting a wide array of international music acts and major events. Which element has the atomic number 6? Carbon. Carbon is a fundamental chemical element identified by its atomic number 6, indicating it has 6 protons in its nucleus. It is uniquely crucial as the basis for all known organic life, forming the backbone of complex biological molecules. Chlorophobia is the irrational fear of which color? Green. Chlorophobia is defined as an irrational and intense fear of the color green. Like other specific phobias, individuals experiencing chlorophobia may exhibit symptoms such as anxiety, panic, and avoidance when exposed to the color green. Which 19th century figure was known as the Lady with the Lamp? Florence Nightingale. Florence Nightingale was a pioneering figure in modern nursing, known for her work during the Crimean War. Her compassionate care and advocacy for sanitation significantly reformed healthcare practices and elevated the status of nursing. What was the middle name of former British Prime Minister William Gladstone? Ewart. William Ewart Gladstone was a dominant political figure in Victorian England, serving 4 terms as Prime Minister. He was known for his liberal policies, financial reforms, and his intense rivalry with Benjamin Disraeli. Which French airport is also known as Roissy Airport? Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport. Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport, located in Roissy in France, is France's largest international airport and a major aviation hub. It is named after Charles de Gaulle, a former president of France and leader of the Free French forces during World War II. Former US President Ronald Reagan's Strategic Defense Initiative, designed to protect the USA from nuclear missile attacks using ground-based and space-based systems, was known by what nickname in the media? Star Wars. The Strategic Defense Initiative, SDI, popularly known as Star Wars, was a proposed missile defense system conceptualized by President Ronald Reagan in 1983. Its aim was to intercept and destroy incoming ballistic missiles, influencing Cold War strategy and arms control negotiations. St. Helier is the capital of which Channel Island? Jersey. St. Helier is the capital and largest town of Jersey, the largest of the Channel Islands. Located in the English Channel, Jersey is a British Crown dependency and is renowned for its unique political status and scenic beauty. The Rhubarb Triangle, famous for producing early forced rhubarb, is in which English county? West Yorkshire. The Rhubarb Triangle is a 9 square mile area in West Yorkshire, England, renowned for producing early forced rhubarb. This unique agricultural practice, involving growth in dark, heated sheds, yields sweeter and more tender stalks and has been granted Protected Geographical Indication (PGI) status. Jack Worthing is the main character in which Oscar Wilde play? The Importance of Being Earnest. Jack Worthing is the protagonist in Oscar Wilde's acclaimed 1895 farcical comedy, The Importance of Being Earnest. The play satirizes Victorian social conventions through its witty dialogue and exploration of themes such as identity, marriage, and hypocrisy. Which country is known as Switzerland of the Middle East? Lebanon. Lebanon earned the moniker Switzerland of the Middle East due to its mountainous landscape, cultural diversity, and historically robust banking sector. Before its civil war, Beirut, the capital, was a significant financial and tourist hub, echoing Switzerland's economic and scenic attributes. Which species of fish is a sterlet? Sturgeon. A sterlet is a species of ray-finned fish belonging to the family Aspirants, commonly known as sturgeon. These fish are primarily found in rivers draining into the Black Sea, Azov Sea, and Caspian Sea, and are notable for their elongated bodies and the production of prized caviar. Who was the first British sovereign to take up residence at Buckingham Palace? Queen Victoria. Queen Victoria was the first British monarch to establish Buckingham Palace as the official primary royal residence. She moved into the palace shortly after her accession to the throne in 1837, solidifying its status as a central symbol of the British monarchy. Kosciuszko is the highest mountain in which southern hemisphere country? Australia. Mount Kosciuszko is the highest peak on the Australian mainland, reaching 2,228 meters, 7,310 feet above sea level. Located in the snowy mountains of New South Wales, it is part of the Great Dividing Range and is a popular destination for hikers. What is the only city in the English county of Wiltshire? Salisbury. Salisbury is the sole city within the ceremonial county of Wiltshire, England. It is renowned for Salisbury Cathedral, which features the tallest church spire in the UK and houses one of the 4 original copies of Magna Carta. In the Hebrew calendar, Yom Chamishi corresponds with which day of the week? Thursday. In the Hebrew calendar, Yom Chamishi directly translates to fifth day. This corresponds to Thursday in the Gregorian calendar, as the Hebrew week traditionally commences on Sunday, Yom Rishon, first day. Bonnie Bray, Eureka, and Ponderosa are all varieties of which fruit? Lemon. These are popular cultivars of lemon, a citrus fruit known for its high vitamin C content and widespread use in culinary applications and beverages globally. India is one of the world's leading producers of lemons. The names of how many US states begin with the letter L? 1. Only one US state, Louisiana, begins with the letter L. Louisiana is located in the Deep South region of the south-central United States, known for its unique culture influenced by French, African, and American traditions. Mintonette was the original name of which ball game? Volleyball. Mintonette was the original name for volleyball, created in 1895 by William G. Morgan, a YMCA physical education director in Holyoke, Massachusetts. It was designed as a less strenuous alternative to basketball for older members. Which are the only 2 planets in our solar system that have no moons? Mercury and Venus. Mercury and Venus are the only 2 planets in our solar system that do not have any natural satellites or moons. This is a fundamental fact in planetary science and astronomy, often attributed to their proximity to the Sun and relatively small gravitational fields. During which year did Switzerland become a full member of the United Nations? 2002. Switzerland became a full member of the United Nations in 2002. Its accession followed a national referendum, marking a significant departure from its long-standing policy of strict neutrality in international affairs, though it had participated in various UN agencies for decades. Who was elected leader of the British Labour Party in October 1983? Neil Kinnock. Neil Kinnock was elected leader of the British Labour Party in October 1983. He served as leader of the opposition in the UK Parliament from 1983 to 1992, during which he spearheaded efforts to modernise the party's image and policies. Republic Day is celebrated in Malta during which month of the year? December 13th. Republic Day is celebrated in Malta on December 13th. This national holiday commemorates the date in 1974 when Malta officially became a republic within the Commonwealth, replacing the British monarch as its head of state with a Maltese president. Which former US president was said for a time to be an FBI informant with the code name T10? Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan, prior to his political career, reportedly served as an FBI informant in Hollywood during the late 1940s and early 1950s. His code name was T10, and he provided information on suspected communist activities within the entertainment industry. The first Winter Youth Olympic Games were held in which European country in January 2012? Austria. The inaugural Winter Youth Olympic Games were held in Innsbruck, Austria, in January 2012. These games, organized by the International Olympic Committee, aim to engage young athletes globally and promote the Olympic values among them. The medical condition dysphoria is commonly known as what? Anxiety. Dysphoria refers to a profound state of unease, generalized dissatisfaction, or restlessness. While it is not strictly anxiety, a feeling of anxiety often accompanies dysphoria, which can be a symptom in various mental health conditions and not a standalone diagnosis itself. Yankee Stadium is located in which borough of New York City? The Bronx. Yankee Stadium, home to the New York Yankees baseball team, is a prominent landmark located in the Bronx, one of New York City's 5 boroughs. Knowledge of major urban landmarks and their specific locations is a standard component of geography and general awareness. Candlemas Day is celebrated during which month of the year? February. Candlemas Day, also known as the Feast of the Presentation of Jesus Christ or the Feast of the Purification of the Blessed Virgin Mary, is a Christian holiday. It is observed annually on February 2nd, 40 days after Christmas, marking the midpoint of winter. Which political figure was best man at the 1927 second wedding of Italian inventor Guglielmo Marconi? Benito Mussolini. Guglielmo Marconi, the Nobel laureate and pioneer of radio, had notable connections with prominent figures of his time. Benito Mussolini, the fascist dictator of Italy, served as the best man at Marconi's second wedding in 1927, highlighting the intersection of science, fame, and political power in early 20th century Italy. Mark Rutte became Prime Minister of which European country in 2010? Netherlands. Mark Rutte became the Prime Minister of the Netherlands in October 2010. He held this position for over a decade, making him one of the longest-serving leaders in modern Dutch history and a significant figure in European Union politics. Did Gwener is Welsh for which day of the week? Friday. Did Gwener is the Welsh term for Friday. This highlights the linguistic diversity within the United Kingdom and is a piece of cultural knowledge related to the Welsh language, an integral part of Welsh heritage. The bride and groom are known as Kalla and Chatan in which religion? Judaism. In Jewish tradition, the bride is referred to as the Kalla and the groom as the Chatan. These terms are commonly used during wedding ceremonies and are fundamental to the lexicon of Jewish marital rites and celebrations. A previously unknown painting by which 17th century artist was discovered on the BBC Your Paintings website in March 2013. Anthony van Dyck. In 2013, a previously unknown painting was attributed to Anthony van Dyck, a prominent 17th century Flemish Baroque artist renowned for his portraits. Such discoveries are significant in art history, adding to the body of work and understanding of master painters. Which 19th century American novelist's remains were reunited with his wife's in Sleepy Hollow Cemetery, Massachusetts, in 2006, after her transfer from London? Nathaniel Hawthorne. Nathaniel Hawthorne was a prominent American novelist and short story writer, known for works like The Scarlet Letter and The House of the Seven Gables. His wife, Sophia Peabody Hawthorne, passed away in London in 1871, and her remains were later reinterred alongside his in Sleepy Hollow Cemetery, Massachusetts, in 2006, emphasizing their historical literary significance. Which major North American mountain range was first explored by the French explorers Pierre and Paul Mallet in 1739? The Rocky Mountains. The Rocky Mountains are a major mountain range in western North America, stretching over 4,800 kilometers from Canada to New Mexico. French explorers Pierre and Paul Mallet are credited with being among the first Europeans to traverse parts of this vast range in 1739, contributing to early European understanding of North American geography. What type of animal is a duiker? An antelope. Duikers are small to medium-sized antelopes native to sub-Saharan Africa. They belong to the subfamily Cephalophani and are known for their shy nature, inhabiting dense bush and forest environments. Benjamin Nnamdi Azikiwe was the first president of which African country? Nigeria. Nnamdi Azikiwe was a leading Nigerian nationalist and the first president of Nigeria, serving from 1963 to 1966. He played a pivotal role in Nigeria's independence movement. In which part of the human body is the ulnar bone located? Forearm. The ulnar is one of the two long bones in the forearm, extending from the elbow to the wrist. It is located on the medial side of the forearm, parallel to the radius. By what unofficial name was the President's Commission on the Assassination of President Kennedy, established by U.S. President Lyndon B. Johnson, commonly known? The Warren Commission. The Warren Commission was established in 1963 by President Lyndon B. Johnson to investigate the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Chaired by Chief Justice Earl Warren, it concluded that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone in assassinating Kennedy. Mary Boleyn and Joan of Navarre were the consorts of which English monarch? Henry IV. Henry IV, also known as Henry Bolingbroke, was King of England from 1399 to 1413. His first wife was Mary de Bohun, and after her death, he married Joan of Navarre, Duchess of Brittany. Which European capital city is situated on the River Sava? Zagreb. Zagreb is the capital and largest city of Croatia. It is centrally located in the country, with the River Sava flowing through its southern parts. Manchuria is a historical name for a large region located on which continent? Asia. Manchuria is a historical region in Northeast Asia, primarily associated with the area now known as Northeast China. It has played a significant role in the history of China, Japan, Russia, and Korea. What is the mathematical instrument known as a slipstick in the US, more commonly called in the UK? Slide rule. A slide rule is a mechanical analog computer used primarily for multiplication and division, and for functions such as roots, logarithms, and trigonometry. Widely used before the advent of electronic calculators, it relies on logarithmic scales to perform calculations. By what English name is the famous sculpture, Le Besser, known? The Kiss. Le Besser, The Kiss, is a celebrated marble sculpture by Auguste Rodin, created between 1882 and 1884. It depicts a nude couple locked in an embrace and is a prominent example of Rodin's profound emotional expression in his artwork. In which European country is the historical theme park Puy du Fou located? France. Puy du Fou is a historical theme park located in Les Épeces, in the Vendée region of western France. It is renowned for its elaborate historical reenactments and spectacular shows, drawing millions of visitors annually without using traditional rides. Which neighborhood in Manhattan, New York, is also referred to as Clinton and Midtown West? Hell's Kitchen. Hell's Kitchen is a neighborhood on the west side of Midtown Manhattan in New York City, also known by its official designation, Clinton, and by Midtown West. Historically an Irish working-class area, it has undergone significant gentrification and is known for its diverse culinary scene and proximity to the Broadway theater district. By what common name is laparoscopic, or minimally invasive surgery, known? Keyhole surgery. Laparoscopic surgery, commonly referred to as keyhole surgery, is a modern surgical technique where operations are performed through small incisions, typically 0.5 to 1.5 centimeters, elsewhere in the body. This method results in less pain, reduced scarring, and faster recovery times compared to traditional open surgery. Lloyd Embley became the editor of which British daily tabloid newspaper in May 2012? Daily Mirror. Lloyd Embley served as the editor-in-chief of the Daily Mirror, a prominent British daily tabloid newspaper, from May 2012. His role involved overseeing the editorial direction and content of one of the UK's widely read national newspapers during a period of significant change in the media landscape. Which mountain overlooks the city of Cape Town in South Africa? Table Mountain. Table Mountain is a flat-topped mountain forming a prominent landmark overlooking the city of Cape Town in South Africa. It is a significant tourist attraction, accessible by cableway, and is part of Table Mountain National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. What type of lightning appears as a broad illumination of parts of a thundercloud, caused by the reflection of a lightning flash? Sheet lightning. Sheet lightning is a type of lightning that appears as a diffuse, broad illumination of parts of a thundercloud. It occurs when the lightning flash itself is either too far away or obscured by clouds, causing the light to scatter and appear as a sheet-like glow rather than a distinct bolt. What is the name of the main peak of the group of hills which form most of Holyrood Park in Edinburgh, Scotland? Arthur's Seat. Arthur's Seat is the main peak of the group of hills that form most of Holyrood Park in Edinburgh, Scotland. An extinct volcano, it offers panoramic views of the city and is a popular destination for walkers and tourists. What is the name of the unacknowledged, discriminatory barrier that prevents women and minorities from rising to positions of power or responsibility within a corporation? Glass ceiling. A glass ceiling is an unacknowledged discriminatory barrier that prevents women and minorities from advancing to positions of power or responsibility within a corporation or organization. It represents invisible, yet real, obstacles to career progression based on gender or ethnicity rather than ability. What is the bottom of a sea or river called? Bed. The bottom of a sea, river, or other body of water is commonly referred to as the bed. This term is used in geology and oceanography to describe the land surface beneath the water, often composed of sediment, rock, or other materials. Who is the Greek god of the woods, fields and flocks, and the name of the satellite of Saturn that is closest to the planet? Pan. Pan is the Greek god of the wild, shepherds, and flocks, often depicted with goat-like features. In astronomy, Pan is also the innermost known moon of Saturn, orbiting within the Encke gap of the E-ring, known for its small size and flying saucer shape due to its equatorial ridge. In computing, what is a picture or design displayed on the background of a computer screen known as wallpaper? In computing, a wallpaper, or desktop background, refers to the digital image used as a decorative background of a graphical user interface on a computer screen or mobile device. It serves to personalize the user's interface and can be a photograph, pattern, or any digital artwork. Who was President of France from 1981 to 1995? François Mitterrand. François Mitterrand was a prominent French statesman who served as President of France from 1981 to 1995. He was the longest-serving president in the history of the Fifth French Republic, known for his socialist policies and significant contributions to European integration. What type of creature is an inca? Bird. An inca is a type of hummingbird, specifically found in the Andes Mountains of South America. These birds are known for their iridescent plumage and crucial role in pollinating various plant species in their ecosystem. Three Kings Day is celebrated in Latin America during which month of the year? January. Three Kings Day, also known as Epiphany, is celebrated on January 6, particularly in Latin America and Spanish-speaking countries. It commemorates the visit of the Magi, three kings, to the baby Jesus, marking the end of the Christmas season. Which country hosted the 1936 Summer Olympic Games? Germany. Germany hosted the 1936 Summer Olympic Games in Berlin, an event controversially used by the Nazi regime for propaganda purposes. Despite the political climate, the Games were notable for Jesse Owens's 4 gold medals, challenging notions of Aryan supremacy. In the UK during World War I, female workers at munitions factories formed teams known as munitionettes, who played against each other in which sport? Football. During World War I, female workers in UK munitions factories, known as munitionettes, formed football teams and played matches to boost morale and raise money for war charities. These informal leagues highlighted women's increasing role in society and industry during the war. In 1776, patriots and soldiers in New York pulled down a statue of which British monarch in celebration of the Declaration of Independence? King George III. In July 1776, following the public reading of the Declaration of Independence, American patriots and soldiers in New York City famously pulled down a statue of King George III. This symbolic act represented the colonists' definitive break from British rule and their commitment to independence. Ninoy Aquino International Airport is in which country? The Philippines. Ninoy Aquino International Airport, NAIA, is the primary international gateway to the Philippines, serving the Manila metropolitan area. It is named after Senator Benigno Ninoy Aquino Jr., a prominent opposition leader whose assassination upon returning to the Philippines at this airport led to significant political upheaval. Nosmophobia is the irrational fear of being what? Ill. Nosmophobia is the irrational and excessive fear of developing a specific disease or generally falling ill. This type of anxiety disorder can significantly impact an individual's daily life, leading to constant worry about health, hypochondria, and avoidance of perceived health risks. What is a temperature of 0 degrees Kelvin also known as? Absolute zero. Absolute zero is the lowest theoretically possible temperature, at which all atomic motion ceases. It is defined as 0 Kelvin, equivalent to -273.15 degrees Celsius or -459.67 degrees Fahrenheit. Which French philosopher and novelist wrote the novel, Nausea, in 1938? Jean-Paul Sartre. Jean-Paul Sartre was a prominent French existentialist philosopher, playwright, and novelist. His novel, Nausea, Le Nausée, published in 1938, is considered a foundational work of existentialism, exploring themes of freedom, responsibility, and the meaninglessness of existence. Zine El Abidine Ben Ali became president of which African country in November 1987? Tunisia. Zine El Abidine Ben Ali became president of Tunisia in 1987 through a bloodless coup. He ruled for 23 years until he was overthrown during the Tunisian Revolution in 2011, which ignited the Arab Spring uprisings across the region. Ghedi and Aviano are towns in which European country? Italy. Ghedi and Aviano are towns located in the northern region of Italy. Aviano is particularly notable for hosting Aviano Air Base, a major United States Air Force installation in Europe, which plays a strategic role in NATO operations. Berengaria of Navarre was the wife of which English monarch? King Richard I. Berengaria of Navarre was Queen of England as the wife of Richard I, also known as Richard the Lionheart. They were married in Cyprus in 1191 during the Third Crusade, though she spent most of her life in France and never actually set foot in England during her husband's reign. Where in the human body is the tibia? Lower leg. The tibia, commonly known as the shin bone, is the larger and stronger of the two bones in the lower leg below the knee in humans. It connects the knee with the ankle bones, bearing most of the body's weight and playing a crucial role in mobility. What is the name of the body of water between the southern tip of South America at Cape Horn, Chile, and the South Shetland Islands in Antarctica? Drake Passage. The Drake Passage is a significant body of water connecting the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, known for its notoriously rough seas. It is a critical gateway to Antarctica and is named after the English circumnavigator Sir Francis Drake. In Judaism, what is a keva? A grave. In Judaism, a keva refers to a grave or burial site, representing the final resting place for the deceased. Jewish burial traditions emphasize simplicity, respect for the dead, and the prompt burial of the body. In July 1971, which New York building became the second tallest building in the world? The South Tower of the World Trade Center. Completed in 1971, the South Tower of the World Trade Center briefly held the distinction of being the world's second tallest building. Together with the North Tower, it was a prominent symbol of global trade and New York City's skyline before its destruction on September 11, 2001. Main is French for which part of the body? Hand. The French word main translates directly to hand in English. This is a fundamental piece of vocabulary in the French language, often learned by beginners. The 16th century Battle of Molody was fought in which country? Russia. The Battle of Molody, fought in 1572 near Moscow, was a pivotal conflict where Russian forces decisively defeated the Crimean Tatars and Ottoman Turks. This victory was crucial in safeguarding the independence of Russia and preventing its full subjugation. Who shared the 1909 Nobel Prize in Physics with German inventor Carl Ferdinand Braun in recognition of their contribution to the development of wireless telegraphy? Guglielmo Marconi. Guglielmo Marconi, an Italian inventor, is widely recognized for his pioneering work in long-distance radio transmission and the development of Marconi's law and a radio telegraph system. He shared the 1909 Nobel Prize in Physics with Carl Ferdinand Braun for their significant contributions to wireless telegraphy, laying the foundation for modern radio communication.